On Christmas Eve 1945, a quiet family home in West Virginia was preparing for the night. 5 children were inside, sleeping upstairs. The night was calm, too calm. No one knew this would be the last normal moment they would ever have. At around midnight, something inside the house ignited. At first, it seemed small, but within minutes, the fire began spreading far too fast to be normal. And in the darkness, no one inside the house came out. The neighbors saw the fire, but something was strange. There were no screams, no running voices, just silence inside the flames. And as the fire grew stronger, no one from the house came outside. It didn't feel like an accident anymore. By morning, the fire was finally under control. But what they found made no sense at all. The house was destroyed, yet there were no bodies inside, no remains, no clear signs of escape. It was like someone had simply disappeared into the fire. Days later, investigators searched the rubble again. Then they found something strange. A small object, partially untouched by fire. It didn't belong in the ruins, and when they looked closer, it raised more questions than answers. As the investigation continued, something even stranger began to surface. The family reported they had received warnings days before the fire. A man who had never been identified. And then, after the fire, some witnesses claimed they saw the children alive. Then, years later, a photograph arrived. No return address, no explanation, just an image of a boy. And on the back, a message that changed everything. It looked like one of the missing children, older but alive. The family refused to believe it was over. For years, they kept searching, following every lead, every rumor, every possible sighting. They traveled, asked questions, chased shadows. But no matter how close it seemed, the truth always slipped away. As the years passed, one theory refused to disappear. What if the fire was never meant to kill anyone? What if it was only a distraction, a way to make 5 children vanish without a trace? And if that's true, then someone planned this from the very beginning. Decades have passed. The house is gone. The fire is long forgotten. But the questions never left. 5 children never found. No proof of death, no proof of survival. Only silence and a mystery that still remains unsolved. Before we continue, what you're about to see makes this case even more disturbing. These are the details that were never fully explained, the things that don't make sense. So if you're into real mysteries like this, make sure you subscribe, because the deeper we go, the darker this story becomes. This wasn't just a house fire, because nothing about this case makes sense. No bodies, no clear escape, and too many things that shouldn't have happened. The more you look at it, the more impossible it becomes. After the fire, there should have been something. Bones, fragments, but there was nothing. Not even a trace of 5 children. The family tried to escape, but the ladder was missing. It had always been there, but that night, it was gone. That night, a phone call came in. Strange, unfamiliar, and then the phone line stopped working. Days before the fire, someone warned them. A man they didn't know. He said the house would burn. Years later, a photo arrived. No sender, no explanation. Just a boy who looked like one of them. So what really happened? Did they die in the fire? Or were they taken before anyone could see? Because after all these years, one question still remains. Before we go any further, there's something you need to understand. This case was never just about what happened, but what might have been hidden. Over the years, people began to connect the pieces, not facts, but theories, and some of them are far more disturbing than the truth itself. So if you want to uncover what others refuse to see, let's begin. What if the fire was never meant to kill them? What if the children were already gone before the flames even started? Because some people believe this wasn't a tragedy. It was a plan. Some believe the children were taken, not during the fire, but before it even began. The fire was only there to erase the evidence. Others believe it was something bigger, a connection to organized crime. The father had enemies and warnings he didn't take seriously. Over the years, people claimed they saw them. Different cities, different times, always the same story. They were alive. So what really happened? Were they taken? Did they survive? Or is the truth something we're not supposed to know? Decades have passed, and still, no trace, no bodies, no proof they died, which leaves one question. What if the fire was never meant to destroy them? What if it was meant to erase them? Because if they didn't die that night, then someone made sure they were never found. And maybe they were still alive.